Have you ever opened your closet or your kitchen cabinet and thought, why do I have so much stuff I don't even use anymore? Maybe it's a pile of gadgets you bought on impulse. Maybe it's a subscription you forgot was still charging. Your card each month. Or maybe it's just stuff that used to make sense when life looked a little different. The truth is, after 65, life does change. And that's not a bad thing. In fact, it's an invitation to simplify, to spend smarter, and to put your time and energy toward what really matters now. Because let's be honest, retirement should be about freedom and peace of mind, not clutter and money stress. And yet so many of us are still spending money on things we don't need anymore. Not because we're careless, but because no one ever told us we could stop. That's what this video is all about. It's not about cutting corners or pinching pennies. It's about protecting your hard-earned money and your mental clarity. It's about buying less of what no longer serves you, and having more for the experiences and moments that do. Let's start with something that sneaks up on almost everyone: trendy tech and unnecessary upgrades. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm all for making life easier. But there's a big difference between buying tools that help and falling into the trap of replacing perfectly good items just because a newer version exists. How many phones, tablets, smartwatches, or kitchen gadgets have you gone through in the last 10 years? And how many of them actually made your life better? Tech companies are clever. They market upgrades as if you're missing out if you don't have the latest model. But for most seniors, the difference between last year's version and this year's is so tiny, it's hardly worth the cost. Unless your current device is broken or slowing you down in a real, frustrating way, you can safely skip the upgrade. And not just skip it, but feel good about skipping it. Because every year you don't buy that $100-200 phone is a year you're freeing up money for something more valuable. A visit with your grandkids, a weekend getaway, or just a little extra breathing room in your budget. The second thing many people over 65 can stop buying: bulk-sized anything unless you're 100% sure you'll actually use it. You've probably heard that buying in bulk saves money, and it can if you're feeding a family or hosting every other weekend. But once the kids are out of the house and your weekly needs shrink, bulk buying often backfires. Things expire before you finish them. Food goes bad, medicine loses potency, and your shelves end up filled with half-used items you forget you even have. What starts as saving money turns into wasted space, wasted time, and wasted dollars. And the truth is, your time and space are worth something too. It might feel strange at first to buy smaller packages or fewer items, but what you're really doing is matching your buying habits to your actual lifestyle, and that's smart. You're not stocking a pantry for a household of 5 anymore. You're buying for you, maybe your partner, maybe a friend you cook with once in a while, but that's it, and that's enough. Clearing out what you no longer need, whether it's oversized containers or pointless tech, does more than save money. It gives you back a sense of calm, a sense of clarity. You stop feeling overwhelmed by the stuff and start focusing on what truly fills you up, emotionally, not just physically. And once that shift starts, everything else starts to feel lighter too. Now that we've cleared out the digital clutter and let go of the giant packs that only made sense when 4 people lived under one roof, let's take a closer look at something that often hides in plain sight and drains both money and emotional energy: impulsive gift buying. You might not expect this one. After all, giving gifts is supposed to be a joyful thing, right? And for many people over 65, especially grandparents, it is. It's love. It's connection. It's a way to stay close when visits are few and far between. But here's the catch. Somewhere along the line, gifting can quietly shift from joyful to automatic, then from automatic to overwhelming. Birthdays, holidays, school events, graduations. You want to show up, show love, do your part. But when that turns into buying dozens of gifts a year, sometimes without a second thought, it can become a source of stress you don't even realize you're carrying. And it's not just the money. It's the mental load of always needing a present, wrapping it, shipping it, wondering if it's the right thing, worrying whether it's enough. Let's be honest. Most people, including your adult kids and grandkids, don't need another object from Amazon. What they really want is to feel remembered, valued, loved. And that doesn't have to cost a dime. A handwritten letter, a photo of the two of you with a note on the back, a favorite recipe passed down, a voicemail that makes them smile. These things last longer than toys or gadgets. They hold emotion. They create memory. And if you do want to spend a little money, it's about time together. A lunch date, a shared activity. Something you both enjoy, even if it's simple. Because at this point in life, your presence matters more than your presence. And reminding yourself of that can be a powerful shift. Not just for your wallet, but for your heart. Now let's talk about a fourth thing people over 65 often keep buying, even when they don't need to. And that's clothing and accessories meant for a lifestyle they no longer live. Raise your hand if your closet has outfits for events you haven't attended in years. Dressy shoes that pinch your feet, scarves you never wear, jackets with the tags still on. We all have them. They're from a time when we went to work every day, attended formal events, or simply felt the need to keep up with every season's fashion shift. But after 65, your calendar likely looks different. You're not chasing trends anymore, and, frankly, you don't have to. You've earned the right to be comfortable, confident, and honest about what you actually wear. So the next time you're tempted to buy another blouse, just in case, pause. Ask yourself, where will I actually wear this? Is it for the life I have now or the life I used to lead? It doesn't mean you stop caring about how you look. Far from it. It means you dress for the moments that matter to you. You keep your favorite cozy layers, the outfit that makes you feel sharp when you go out to dinner, the sneakers that make your walks feel light and free, and you give yourself permission to let go of everything else. You don't need more clothes. You need the right clothes, the ones that match this version of you. And the more you pare things down, the easier it becomes to open that closet in the morning and say, yes, this is me. And when you feel good in what you wear, without clutter, without guilt, you don't just save money. You step into your day lighter, more relaxed, more focused on living it, not just dressing for it. Now that we've talked about clothing that no longer serves your real life, let's touch on a big one. Something that often hides behind convenience but quietly chips away at your freedom, budget, and health. And that's over-relying on packaged, processed food. Listen, there's no judgment here. We all get tired. Cooking for one or two people doesn't always feel worth it. And let's be honest, some of that pre-made stuff, it's fast, it's salty, it fills you up. But over time, it can do more harm than good, especially after 65. Your body now more than ever depends on the quality of what you put in. And most packaged food, those frozen dinners, those boxed meals, those long shelf-life snacks, is full of additives, preservatives, excess sugar, and sodium. Things that zap your energy, mess with your digestion, inflame your joints, and drain your vitality slowly and silently. But the real issue isn't just health. It's cost. Not just financial, though those ready meals add up fast. The real cost is what you lose when you stop feeding yourself well. Your strength, your clarity, your immunity, your spark. All of it needs fuel, not empty fillers. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a gourmet chef or start whipping up complex meals every night. In fact, it's the opposite. Simple is smart, simple is doable. A pot of soup that lasts 3 days. A tray of roasted vegetables and salmon you can reheat. A few boiled eggs ready in the fridge. A smoothie you can sip in the morning. These small prep wins add up, and suddenly, you're eating food that loves you back. If it helps, think of your meals as quiet acts of self-respect. Not chores, not punishment, but tiny ways of saying, I matter, because you do, every day. And when you cut down on buying the overly processed stuff and shift to even a handful of fresh, nourishing basics, you'll feel it. In your bones, in your sleep, in the way you move. You'll wake up less stiff, think more clearly, walk more freely. That kind of change doesn't come from a pill. It comes from your plate. And here's something beautiful. This Shift often inspires other shifts. You'll crave more movement, more daylight, more peace. Because when your body feels safe and well-fed, your whole spirit opens up. So next time you reach for that frozen tray, pause. Ask, what would truly nourish you today? And see if your answer starts to change. And now let's talk about something that might surprise you. Not because it's flashy or extravagant, but because it's often disguised as being responsible, smart, even generous. I'm talking about buying for a version of yourself or your family that no longer exists. Maybe it's picking up gadgets or tools for hobbies you've quietly moved on from, or stocking the freezer like the grandkids still visit every week, or buying things just in case, even when deep down, you know you likely won't use them again. We've all done it. Walked through the store and thought, oh, this would be great for next summer when we finally have the big family barbecue again. Or, maybe I'll get back into sewing like I used to. Or, that set of 8 serving platters, perfect if everyone comes for Thanksgiving. But here's the truth. Every time we spend on a version of life that's more memory than reality, we take something away from the life we're actually living right now. It's not about cutting off hope or letting go of beautiful dreams. It's about recognizing when the pattern has shifted and giving yourself permission to adapt. Because the current version of you, your needs, your routines, your joy, is worth investing in. Not the imaginary guest list, not the version of yourself from 20 years ago, you. Now, when you stop buying for someday and start honoring today, something incredible happens. Your home feels lighter, your wallet stretches further, and your mind, your precious, hard-working mind, stops carrying the weight of all the things you should be doing with that sewing machine, or that exercise bike, or that unused fondue, set collecting dust in the garage. So ask yourself with each purchase, does this add value to the life I'm living right now? Not the life you had before. Not the one you think you should have, but the beautiful, imperfect, real one unfolding each day. That question alone can save you hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars a year. But more than that, it saves you space. Space to breathe, space to move, space to feel proud of how wisely, intentionally, and lovingly you're caring for yourself. Because that's what all of this really comes down to. Not deprivation, not cutting back out of fear, but choosing to spend in a way that reflects your freedom, not your fears. Your present, not your past. Your peace, not your pressure. And that's a gift no receipt can ever capture. There's one more area where so many seniors get quietly, consistently drained. And that's buying things to please others, especially when it comes from guilt. You know what I mean? Saying yes to every grandchild's request even when it stretches your budget. Buying gifts for every occasion, every friend, every distant cousin, even when you're not sure they'd notice if you didn't. Picking up the check again and again out of habit, not joy. Now don't get me wrong, generosity is beautiful. It's one of the greatest qualities you carry. But when it turns into obligation, when it starts costing you peace of mind, when it pushes your own needs to the back of the line, it's no longer generosity. It's sacrifice. And if you're always giving from a place that's already feeling a little empty, financially or emotionally, you end up paying more than just money. You pay with your sense of stability, your confidence, your ability to do something nice for yourself without guilt. The world may not say it out loud, but let me. You've already given enough. You've spent decades showing up, supporting, providing, loving. You don't have to keep proving your worth with presents and paid lunches. The people who truly care about you want your presence, not your presents. Your attention, not your bank account. Your laughter, not your receipts. So it's okay to say, not this year. It's okay to switch from expensive gifts to heartfelt cards. It's okay to say, I can't swing that right now, but let's have tea instead. Because what they remember, what sticks, is how you made them feel, not how much you spent. And if someone doesn't understand that, that's not your burden to carry. That's theirs. You have the right to protect your resources. You have the right to put your own peace and security first. You have the right to be the one on the receiving end of kindness every once in a while. Because the real joy, in aging gracefully, is learning to say yes only when you mean it, and no without guilt. So let's take a breath together. You made it through some important shifts, some gentle wake-up calls, and maybe a few quiet nods of, "Yep, I've done that." This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aware. It's about choosing what serves you, not what drains you. Spending with intention, not out of habit. Letting go of the things that no longer match your season of life. So you have more space, mentally, emotionally, financially, for the things that do. If something in this video clicked with you, share it in the comments. Tell us, what have you stopped buying after 65? What boundary have you set that made you feel stronger, freer, lighter? You're part of a growing community here. A place for wise, empowered, self-respecting seniors who aren't afraid to live intentionally. Let's learn from each other. Let's support each other. Let's keep rising together. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this with a friend who might need it. Here's to living smarter, spending wiser, and protecting your peace like the treasure. It truly is. You deserve that. You always have.